Hey guys, thank you for watching for this streaming, and I really appreciate your continued support and always playing this card game. So today, we prepared a special event. So it's a special match between champion of this tournament and producer for Battlefield Saga. So, however, I guess that he's feeling a little bit nervous. He might make some misplays from time to time, but as you all probably know, the developers are usually great at creating the game, but not so great at playing them, right? So please be kind to him today. And you guys ready? No? Okay, lovely. So we hope you guys enjoy this special event. Thank you.
Everybody to this Battle Spirit Saga feature exhibition match. My name is Ben and I'm joined by a very excited Taj, I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an awesome exhibition match. We've got one of our top players, Pro Tour winner, of multiple time tops finish out against one of our developers for the game as well.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really exciting and a real clash of styles and almost kind of formats even as well with Battle Spirit Saga at the moment. We have our top player Ido on the purple control deck, and our wonderful developer has brought something really, really special with Battle Spirit Saga Set 6. This deck that's been described to me as the sushi deck.
Yeah, anybody fancy some sushi?
I do.
Yeah, so do I. Let's create a load of sushi tokens, shall we?
Let's do it.
Absolutely. This is a great combination. It's introducing the new set BSS06, elements of that to our audience as well as introducing quite an established deck. You know, we both were at the launch event for Battle Spirit Saga, and the purple deck has been always very strong, and I've still got mine built at home, ready to play as well.
Absolutely. Well, for many of you as well tuning in here on the Bandai Cardfest broadcast, you may be seeing Battle Spirit Saga maybe for the first time. So this might be your first little glimpse into what this game has to offer. A game with a really dedicated community, global reach as well. And we're really excited to show off some of the best elements of this card game. We'll do our best to guide you through it as well, just in case there are those of you out there that are just seeing this for the first time. I think we're hearing that the game is right on its way now. So Ayumu on the right-hand side, he will be playing the purple control, and then you have our developer Yutaro Tada, who is playing the sushi deck.
So let's just introduce people to some of the core elements of this game. So talking about core elements, no pun intended.
I see what you did there.
This game is based on cores. So as you can see, both players have a life area where they have placed 4 of their blue cores, 5 of their blue cores, which is essentially their life and their resource. You have to keep those cores in order to survive, and once you are reduced to 0, you lose the game. You also start off with 3 cores in your reserve area, plus your soul core. So you can see both players have got a red core there, that's your soul core. Can be used for some unique mechanics with certain cards which specifically mention the core's soul core. So yeah, we'll see that as we play through today.
Yeah, one of the ones particularly in the purple matchup, the purple deck, will be the Dark Knight Agla Veil, which when destroyed, if it has a soul core on it, will allow Ayumu to draw a card. So we'll keep an eye out for those. Of course, importantly, cores need to be on your spirit in order to be a part of the battlefield, as we are immediately underway here with our feature matchup with the Sushi Bullet Train.
Yeah, absolutely. Comes straight in there for 4 cores. So as you can see, the core were utilized to pay for the cost of playing that. So the top left-hand corner signifies how many core you need to play. 4 cores were used, and that comes in, and it's a Nexus. So do you want to explain to maybe some of our viewers what a Nexus is there, Ben?
Yeah, a Nexus is a pretty unique card type within Battle Spirit Saga, because for one, typically it doesn't need a core on it in order to stay around, to have it in its level 1 capacity. All spirits or Nexuses will have their level 1 at their base level, and will have a core requirement in order for them to be on the battlefield. What you're seeing now here from Yutaro is that you've got cores that have been placed onto the Sushi Bullet Train, which is making that up to a level 2, which means that when you use a magic card from your hand, like it looks like we're seeing here now, we can pay 1 core from that Nexus to activate Feast, which is exactly how Yutaro Tada is going to be creating these sushi tokens.
Yeah, we start off with that small sushi token, sub-sprite token, should I say, the sushi token, and immediately it's gone up to the medium-sized one now.
Yeah, and this is going to be the game plan here, is making some of these smaller tokens into a little bit bigger, these sub-sprite tokens into their 3 different stages, and then eventually becoming a really, really scary, overpowering force. So we see here the medium sub-sprite token going into the battle step, with it being at level 1, has the ability Blessed, which means that as soon as that damage goes through onto Ayumu, and Ayumu is forced to take that 1 core's damage, Yutaro is able to essentially heal 1 life and gain 1.
Yeah, such a great mechanic, Blessed. As you say, you know, opponent takes damage, you gain 1 core in your life area. Fantastic. And it's done its job there, you know. We already see that token disappearing, but now we can see that Yutaro is on 6 cores in the life area, while Ayumu is on 4.
Yeah, this is one of the dangerous things I think that Yutaro will have to try and face here, going against Ayumu, because purple is a control deck, as we said, and the way that it controls the board state and controls the game is through core removal or core destruction. You just saw there, because these sub-sprite tokens only have 1 core on them and they've got no extra levels to be able to go up onto, they can immediately be destroyed and sent away for just the 1 core, as we're seeing a second copy now of the cooking conveyor belt sushi being played down, creating more tokens, combining perfectly with the Sushi Bullet Train Nexus as well. Yutaro going to be able to pick up an extra card, and again, already he's up to that medium sub-sprite token.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hand size is looking pretty decent as well for cards in hand. And we see across the board there's an Impaler Forest being played while we were talking by Ayumu, which is a Nexus in itself. You know, again, 0 core level 1 during your attack step. When you destroy one of your spirits, one of your effects, your opponent selects one of their spirits and you remove a core from it and place it in their reserve. So quite a powerful Nexus there. And on level 3, once you've got 3 cores on it, during your opponent's end step, at the start of the step, you may discard the top card of your deck. If you do, select a spirit card in your trash and return it to the top of your deck. So it's using those mechanics to be able to put useful stuff back on the top of your deck that might be in your trash.
So with Ayumu's turn here, we see the Shaznake making its way onto the board, just a 2-cost spirit, but importantly as well, because of the spirits that are on the board, you can see just underneath the cost indicator on the card, there's a little symbol. That's a cost reduction symbol, which means that that spirit can have its cost reduced by 1, and being able to get a real opportunity to get some value off of these cores. Speaking of some cost reduction, we see the Black Lance make its way down here, which when someone was played as a level 2 spirit, allowing Ayumu to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Black Lance is a really good card to have on board. Obviously, the initial cost would be 6 if you were to play it with cores, but with cost reduction has brought in a little less. And on level 1, 2, and 3, it's got Cursor. If one of your opponent's spirits blocks, you'll destroy it when the battle ends. So it doesn't matter how many cores it's got on it, it'll just be destroyed. And on a level 2 and 3, obviously you draw 2 cards when summoned, so that's why it was important to get some extra cores on there.
So we see an attack going in there, dealing a damage as well to Yutaro, who is only down now to just 6 life on board after having blessed and healed up for 2 with the 2 medium sub-sprite tokens early throughout the game. And Ayumu at the end there will end the attack step and go straight over to Yutaro Tada's next turn.
Yep, as we with Battle Spirit Saga, every turn you get an extra core from the Void added in, so you're slowly getting more and more cores to be able to do more and more powerful things each turn. But there are obviously mechanics within this game as well that allow you to add cores from the Void and accelerate your core build up.
So Yutaro's got a couple of interesting different options and ways to go about this. Obviously, the biggest thing that he's continued to worry about and facing down is the fact that Ayumu is just being able to routinely deal with all of the Sub-Sprite tokens that Yutaro Tada is being able to play. We see Strong Draw make its way out of the hand here from Yutaro, which is going to draw 3 cards and then go ahead and discard 2. And that was a magic card as well. So that is going to activate that Sushi Bullet Train and get another small Sub-Sprite token. So you can see already early on the sort of little value engine that's trying to be generated by Yutaro. But at the moment, Ayumu has had all of the answers for it. Here's a really big unit that looks like a spirit that looks like it's making its way down onto the board though.
Yeah, absolutely. But as you were saying, you know, this is what I love about Battle Spirit Saga. It's the combo mechanics that you have when you're doing certain things. It does help you to do other things, to create tokens and just, you know, keep things moving and draw cards.
So it's the Hit Girl Nagi that makes its way onto the board for Yutaro, which when summoned at any level, level 1, 2, or 3, select one of your opponent's spirits, reduce its BP by 4,000 during this turn. That's why you'll notice one of those spirits now in the discard pile for Ayumu, because when a spirit's BP is reduced to 0, it goes away the same way it would if there would be all of its cores removed from it. And then if you destroy one of your opponent's spirits via reducing its BP to 0 with this effect, activate Feast one more time, which is exactly how Yutaro is continuing to level up and evolve these Sub-Sprite tokens from small to medium to large.
Yeah, exactly. And once you get to large, you just start again and you get another small Sub-Sprite token.
Yeah.
You just can keep going off and off high.
And scarily as well, those large Sub-Sprite tokens are 14,000 BP for just one token, and it has Blessed, and it has Raid 1 as well.
Very dangerous indeed.
So here now Ayumu is just going through and replenishing his board state just a little bit after we had a little bit of a soft reset there with all the spirits being dealt with. We see another Shaznake making its way onto board, as well as looks like another Black Lance that is there, which does have Curse with all 3 levels when it attacks, but importantly, it doesn't look like it was summoned as a level 3, so, or a level 2 or a level 3, so not getting the card draw. And Ayumu is just going to pass the turn on that one. So just a little bit of a tempo turn there from Ayumu, making his way back into board state. And then eventually we'll look to turn that into some more aggressive potential, some aggressive value, and work its way down on these life cores that Yutaro still has.
Yeah, Yutaro is still on the 6 life cores, as we were saying earlier on. Used that Blessed quite early, got up to 6, and still sitting at that position now. So yeah, all these little sushi tokens keep coming out, and they're doing a job, but they might go quick, but still sustaining that life that we saw accelerated early on.
Yeah, Blessed has been such a great mechanic throughout the history and the early game of Battle Spirit Saga. As you see here, another copy of the Strong Draw making its way down Bomb Yutaro. Interestingly there, I saw from Ayumu's side of the board on his trash, we saw the Absolute Ice Shield. One copy of that going into the discard pile. Now this is a really, really important card in so many strategies from Battle Spirit Saga, because it's got a mechanic that we haven't really talked about yet so far, Taj, and that is the burst mechanic.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the card there face down just below Amuru's life, and it's a burst card, and obviously it has to reach a certain criteria in order for the burst effect to be played. And in the case of Absolute Ice Shield, it's when you lose life, you can play the card. So essentially what it does, it places a core from your reserve in. When you lose a life, you'll get a core from your reserve into your life, and then you may play this card's pay the card's cost, activate its flash effect, which when the battle ends, when this battle ends, you end your opponent's attack step, which can be really, really powerful indeed. So not only do you get your life back, but if your opponent's got, say, 3, 4, 5 more attacks potentially that could have come through, you just stop it there and then.
Yeah, really, really huge potential to just prevent that aggression for a potential final turn swing from your opponent. We see here that there is going to be the attack step declared. The Falco Panther makes its way into the attack, which is at a level 2, so is going to be able to activate its ability when it attacks. Discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's effects.
Yeah, interesting one. That 3 cards we saw then being discarded, and yeah, as we were talking about, those best cards can be, you know, game-changing. It's been a staple since the first set came out, as you were saying. You know, it doesn't matter what color deck you play, everybody tries to play 4 copies of that in their deck. Absolutely,
as we saw there, the attack from the Panther getting blocked, which then at that point the 2 spirits go against each other, compare BP, and both will go down.
Looking at comparing both players' hands there, you know, Ayumu's on 3 cards left in hand, but Yutaro's definitely managed to build up quite a healthy hand size there.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the aspects and one of the benefits of playing this token-based strategy, is that you're generally only using 1 magic card or 1 spirit a turn in order to combine with that nexus that was established very, very early on in the game, the Sushi Bullet Train, to be able to keep the attacking pressure as well with these Subsprite tokens. Not too many resources have had to be expended. Plus, we've seen 2 copies of Strong Draw being utilized from Yutaro Tada in order to sculpt that hand a little bit finer, as Ayumu is now going to go ahead into the attack step and start trying to go into some of these life. The small Subsprite token is going to get in the way of the first swing and will go down.
I'm going to also play that Black Lance again this turn, so another one of those has come out in the play as well.
And then 2 follow-up swings. The first one from the Shazdrake making its way through, and then the Black Lance there as well, hitting home. So Yutaro Tada now finally down to a point where he was less life than what they'll start with in a game of Battle Spirit Saga, with 4 life. And immediately at the start of this turn is going to move some more of those cores onto the Sushi Bullet Train and get that value engine continuing to going. Oh, a second Sushi Bullet Train! It's Sushi Station!
Yeah, absolutely. Yutaru there, obviously happy to take those 2 life. Gives a bit more cores in the reserve there. 12 cores were in that reserve to start this turn, so can start really doing some crazy things now. And as we see, a second one comes down, both of them now trigger.
Yeah, with the cooking conveyor belt Sushi making its way onto board, which is immediately going to create that small Subsprite token into the large Subsprite token. This is what we were just talking about. The 14,000 BP spirit with just 1 core on it has the Blessed ability, which the medium Subsprite tokens have, and also has Raid 1, which is an ability that reads that up to the specific number of times per turn, you may exhaust 1 of your nexuses to refresh this spirit. So essentially, you can get multiple attacks with the same spirit if it has Raid.
Yeah, absolutely. So Raid 1 means you can do it once, and yeah, it's definitely does help.
So it looks like here there's going to be, this is the second copy of the Hit Girl Nagi that's making its way onto the board, which is going to feast up once again. Remove 1 of those cores off of a large Subsprite token, which makes sense. There was 2 on it already. You can have more cores than you need for a level requirement on a unit if you need to, if you feel like the strategy provides that opportunity. That's exactly what we see here, and Yutaro continuing on with that value engine to get a second small Subsprite token, which is just what you were talking about, and what you were talking about earlier on in the game. If you have the large Subsprite token, you then, in the next activation of this Feast ability, create a small one and start the Sushi Platter all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about cores and moving them around, during your main step, you can move your cores around as much as you like until you get to your attack step where they're all locked in. So yeah, it does mean that you can, as we say, just put some cores on your spirits and then feel free to move them around before you do sort of end your main step.
Yeah, but it looks like there was a flash card there being used. And looks like another one here as well. This looks like it's going to be the deadly balance that is going to make its way down, which the opponent has to select one of their spirits, then you select one of yours, and both get destroyed. Magic has two different window of timings that they could be activated in, either main, so during your main step on your turn, or if it has flash, there is that window of opportunity in your opponent's or even your attack step to be able to activate a flash ability as a big spirit makes its way onto the board here. This looks like it's the Dread Knight Nemesis.
Yeah, Dread Knight Nemesis. It's been from set 1. Obviously, we've seen this, and like I said, it's had it in my deck as well.
Yeah.
So it's got 3 cores on it, so it's on level 2 at the moment. So when it attacks, select one of your spirits. You may destroy it, activate one of the following effects. You can select one of your opponent's spirits, place up to 2 cores from it into their reserve, or draw 2 cards. So it is a multi-use mechanic on that one.
And that's exactly what we saw there with the Dread Knight going down to really make its way for some card advantage for Ayumu, and importantly at that level 2 attacking for 8,000 BP. And now Tada is down to 2 cores remaining in that life area. Ayumu still on 3 at the moment, so maybe the tide slowly starting to change here, as it looks like another Nexus is going to make its way onto the board.
Yes, we see another one dropped there from the new set, which is Big Haul Fishing Trawler by the looks of it. This Nexus on a level 1, the first time one of your token spirits is summoned each turn, place a core from the void onto this Nexus. So essentially you're doing core acceleration with it, and on a level 2 all your spirits will raid, gain 2,000 BP, which again will be very useful with all the with all the tokens that we've seen that have raid on.
Yeah, especially when you get up to those large tokens. The Big Haul Fishing Trawler, there's 2 of them played down here. Now we see making its way onto the board a Cooking Fishing Hardships, which is one of these burst cards, but is being activated during the main step purely just to activate Feast, and able to immediately from that small subsprite token go up into the large token. And now we're going to see the Big Haul Fishing Trawler as well get activated, getting those cores onto the Nexus, then resting the Sushi Bullet Train here because there was a token summoned. Both of them will activate as well to draw 2 more cards. Yutaro looking over the table and said, okay, you can use your other spirits in order to draw cards. I could just make sushi tokens and use all my trains to be able to draw me more value, as another big unit makes its way onto the board. This one really sizable though. This is Wave Wrestler Orin-Yama.
Yeah, absolutely. It drops someone and utilizes all those cores that were built up on those Nexuses and spreads them out amongst those 2 spirits, just making it a little bit more difficult, especially with the core removal aspect of purple, to destroy these spirits by having a substantial amount. 4 cores on each by the looks of it at the moment, or 3 on our Wave Wrestler.
Yeah, I really love this play. Like you say, just making sure that this is awareness of the game state and of what your opponent is trying to do with their deck and with this matchup. So try and overcore some of these spirits. Obviously, the Wave Wrestler Orin-Yama does need the 3 cores on it, like you say, to be at level 2. But now it's at level 2, when it's going to be going in for an attack, your opponent selects any number of their spirits, destroy them, then activate Feast once for each spirit your opponent controls. So it looks like here we're going to see that that Dread Knight make its way down.
But that Dread Knight does have a on-destroyed ability
Of
as well.
course,
So
yes.
you destroy, your opponent has to destroy one of their own spirits as well. So again, doing that has obviously its consequences as well.
Yeah, and now we're going to see a real aggressive attempt and a turn here, though, from Tada, but that's going to be immediately stopped down for a deadly balance, forcing Tada to destroy the only spirit that he had. And Ayumu, he had to do that as well there, because it looked like he was getting ready to stare down 3 different 14,000 BP attacks, but thanks to those 2 Nexuses on Utaro's side of the board, the Big Haul Fishing Trawler.
Yeah, absolutely. So we now see another spirit dropping there. This one is Costume Artist. Comes in, it's a 3 cost on a level 1. Well, this is coming in at... It was... Loads of cores moving around here. It's currently on level 3, so it's a 4,000 power. When it attacks, it may destroy one of your other spirits to draw a card. While the spirit attacks, it's got Curse as well.
Yeah, you see the Dark Bishop Baculus as well onto the board for Ayumu. Doesn't necessarily get the value that he would have maybe been looking for with its on-summon ability. Remove all but 1 core each from all spirits and place them into their owner's reserves. But at the moment, with those 3 cores on it, with the inclusion of the Soul Core, is up to a 6,000 BP spirit. And now it looks like we're going into the attack step. And Ayumu is going to attack in with the Bishop itself here first. We've got an activation of a Flash ability. However, this is cooking premium sushi. So that you let one of your opponent's spirits reduce its power by 5,000 BP during this turn. It's immediately going to go after the non-attacking spirit. And now a sushi token being created as well, thanks to the feast.
Yeah, as you was talking about, that Dark Bishop didn't really come in and do anything, but there are some crazy combos you can do with that when there are lots of spirits looking at you from across the board, especially because you're reducing them down to 1 core each, and then you've got other cards that can remove cores as well, which can just blow up those spirits off the board. So yeah.
Now we're seeing in Yutaro's flash timing another magic being used. Going to activate Feast here to get that medium Sap Sprite token into the large one. So now we've got a 14,000 power BP Spirit ready once again. And that is going to get balanced. That's going to get deadly balanced. So Ayumu there, you can see the little smile, the little laughter between both of the players, having a great time, as you can imagine. Does have to sacrifice that Baculus to get rid of the large Sap Sprite token, but I think you have to do it as soon as you see this big, scary 14,000 BP Spirit that only requires 1 core on it to start doing some serious damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Both players sort of turn by turn, they're sort of batting each other's spirits away and just keeping that board down to 0 spirits. It might be, at the end of the day, this might come down to what Nexuses are doing, because the Nexuses can be really powerful in determining who comes out on top here, I think.
We've seen throughout the game so far that Yutaro has used so much Nexus variability, obviously having now double Sushi Bullet Train on board alongside double Big Haul Fishing Trawler. There's just so much value that is being created. There's plenty of cores now being placed upon the Sushi Bullet Train. 2 cores on each of those Nexuses. Now we're going to get the cooking fish fillet on the board. When using this magic card, if it costs 4 if your opponent has 3 or more magic cards in the trash. But here in the main, discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. Then you may destroy one of your non-token spirits to summon 2 small Sap Sprite tokens. So that Hydra that is on board at the moment could very well get destroyed here in order to get 2 small Sap Sprite tokens onto the board for Yutaro Tada. And it looks like that's what's going to happen with the cores being removed.
Yeah, and from those 5 cards that were just milled off the top of the deck, I think there's another Deadly Balance in there. So that's potentially the last one, because we have seen 3 of them, I believe, being utilized. So no more Deadly Balances to be worried about by the looks of things.
And now Yutaro Tada with 2 small Sap Sprite tokens onto the board. Looks like we're immediately going to go to work in making those meals a little bit more hearty, a little bit more plentiful, straight up into a large token with the first one now exhausting both of the Sushi Bullet Trains. Going to draw a couple of extra cards here.
Look how many cores are still in that reserve as
well.
So got to quite a hefty amount there compared to Ayuma's core.
And importantly as well, they have the opportunity to reduce some more costs with everything that's on the board. So here comes a second Wave Wrestler Orinyama that hits down. Looks like it is at the level 2 right now with having 3 cores on it, but it looks like that might be upgraded with the cores being moved from the Nexuses in play from Tada, who will play down his first burst card of the game into the burst zone as well.
Yeah, it looks like the 6 cores needed for it to be a level 3 have been placed upon it to make it 11,000 power.
And now, again, here is Yutaro just being aware of some of these core removal cards and these core removal themes from Ayumu's purple control deck, putting 5 cores on the large Sub-Sprite token, 6 cores actually. I think there's a soul core on the small token. And we're going to see into the attack step, 14,000 BP, and then resting that Nexus there to restand it and refresh it. The first attack is going to go through, which means Yutaro will get the blessed activation as well. Here it comes a second time. And the core is going to get taken. Activate the ice shield.
Yep. Gets a blessed effect into life anyway, so that 1 life has been gained by Yutaro, but that's it. As we say, the ice shield's done its work, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and it essentially means even though that you take the core of damage, you still get it back. So it's not like you've sort of lost a life or a damage. Important to note, however, that for Absolute Ice Shield to work, you have to have 1 more core's worth of life still in the life area. You can't activate Ice Shield with 1 core in the life area because you would go down to 0 and therefore lose the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing that you need to know is Absolute Ice Shield does require you to be on at least 2 cores because you will lose the core from your life area before it activates. So if you go down to 0, the second you go down to 0, you've lost the game.
Now here is some much better value from Ayumu, playing down his second copy of Dark Bishop Baculus, getting rid of all but 1 of those cores across the 3 spirits that Yutaro Tada had on the board. Now loading up the spirit with cores, and then a massive dragon makes its way onto the board. The Infernal King Cursed Dragon, which on summon is going to remove 1 core each from all other spirits and place it into Yutaro Tada's reserve. But we talked about that acceleration earlier. The second ability for every core, for every spirit that was destroyed using that effect, a core is going to go on to the King Dragon.
Yeah, and this is exactly the combo I was talking about. You know, you use that Baculus to reduce everything down to 1 core, and then you have your Infernal King Cursed Dragon come in, and it's literally wipes everything away.
And now Yutaro will be very, very happy, I would imagine, that he managed to get 2 of those blessed activations off in his last attack step, with 2 very, very scary and big swings looking to come his way in this attack step. That Infernal King Cursed Dragon is at 9,000 BP right now, with it at level 2. And with just 2 cores onto the Dark Bishop, that is only still enough for level 1. So there's just a 4,000 BP. But 1 core now being removed, the soul core, importantly, from Ayumu. Instead, wants to keep it there, go to the attack step, and let's start trying to do some damage. 4,000 BP, that will go and activate. Burst in the activation, though, for Yutaro Tada. And it looks like this is going to be the cooking fishing hardships, generating another feast token.
There we go, yeah, just token after token we're seeing, aren't we? So yeah, definitely doing its work there, that particular burst card, sorry.
And now here comes the Infernal King Cursed Dragon. Remember, still at level 2, with it being a 4-core spirit, 9,000 BP. When this spirit attacks, however, select 1 of your opponent's spirits, remove all but 1 core from it, and place them into their reserve. So with it only being 1 core on this medium Sasprite token at the moment, not going to be able to remove that core and defeat it.
So it survives that turn, so yeah. Keep the token in play. Look, like I said, wow, how many cores have we got there now for Yutaro to utilize, and plenty of cards in hand as well. It's just about looking for the right pieces to be able to do something to get through those last 2 life potentially.
Well, we're going to start things off with the cooking conveyor belt sushi, which is going to activate Feast and put that medium Subsprite token up into a large token. And now with that large token on the board, any resulting Feast activations will generate the second token. So there you see with both of the bullet train activations, going to feast twice and get into the medium token. Now resting those 2 Nexuses to pick up a couple of extra cards, look for some more ways that potentially Tada could look to close this game out with just 1 card left in hand. Ayumu does still have a card in burst though.
Yeah. Which again, Yutaro's going to have to consider that as well. Okay, you'd probably think, okay, I can swing for game here, but no, with that card in burst, again, could be an absolute ice shield. So you need to put some defensive options up as well, understanding how your opponent plays and can reduce those cores off your spirits. So you need to make sure there's something that you could potentially just put in there as a way to block some attacks.
Well, now Falco Panther onto the board. At the moment with 5 cores onto it, so it's still only a level 2. Now Yutaro looks like it's going to boost that 6th and final core onto it to boost it up to its fullest capacity, level 3, 6,000 BP. That spirit currently stands at. And 2 cores onto the big haul fishing trawler Nexus. So all spirits with raid are going to gain an additional 2,000 BP. So in actuality, this large Subsprite token is swinging for 16,000 BP.
Yeah.
Ayumu will take, activates the Ice Shield. Yet again is going to pay the cores off of the King Cursed Dragon as well to be able to pay and activate for the flash effect to end the attack step there for Yutaro. And that's exactly what you were talking about there, Taj.
Yeah, it's always a danger, and that's what makes this game so interesting as well. You know, having those burst effects makes you think in a totally different way as far as your strategy is concerned.
So now you see a card being removed off of the top of the deck. And just Ayumu trying to think and figure out what to potentially look to recur here. And it's just going to be a spirit. I think that was the Black Lance that was brought back into hand there from Ayumu, who is, it's interesting, it feels like he's in a little bit of an awkward position, given that at the moment just 2 spirits on board, 1 core on both of them, facing off against Tada's quite healthy board state, but we all know that it's just going to be able to take, all it will take is just to play another Dark King Baculus down, reduce all of those spirits down to just 1 core. And then if there's another Cursed Dragon in the hand as well, we can just do the exact same combination that we did last turn, and Yutaro will have a completely clean board state again.
Yeah, exactly. All that hard work to get those spirits out and all those cores on them can quite easily be undone, and that's what Purple's all about.
Well, another way to reduce all spirits cores down to 1 as well will be with an attack from this level 2 Infernal King Cursed Dragon. As soon as it attacks, only 1 of the spirits can be targeted, but all but 1 core will have to be removed from it and placed into Tada's reserve.
Calculations now about what to do next, and here we see another spirit being played.
Yeah, this looks like it's the Dread Knight yet again, so gonna elect to destroy another spirit potentially here on its attack, and either get 2 cores from the spirit, one of the Tada spirits back into the reserve, or draw 2 cards yet again, because as we've been mentioning throughout this game, Ayumu has been operating on pretty limited capacity with cards left in hand. We are now going to go to the attack step, so Infernal King Cursed Dragon will swing first. Its attack ability will activate, and it's going to target down the Falco Panther with its core removal. We see a block and no further actions, so the King Cursed Dragon is going to be destroyed thanks to the block from the large Subsprite token.
Absolutely gets dealt with there.
Now it will be about whether Ayumu is going to want to continue on with this attack step, try and push a little bit of advantage here. There being no card in the burst area, but there are still plenty of cores in reserve, as you've been saying rightfully, Taj, to potentially activate some flash abilities out of hand. We are going to go ahead and attack in with the Dread Knight Nemesis, destroying the Dark King Baculus.
Yep, removes that last core there. That's another spirit destroyed in the form of the Falco Panther.
And then gonna draw the block from the medium Subsprite token this time. Tada wanting to protect those 3 cores in life at the moment, and the medium token will be destroyed.
Ayumu just deciding now what's the play now here.
Yeah, just trying to figure out if it's going to be worth it or not to go in and attack with the Black Lance and try and get a little bit of extra damage going through, but figures this isn't the right time. I'm not getting that curse ability potentially as well, which is an ability that reads, if one of your opponent's spirits blocks, destroy it when the battle ends.
Yeah, decides not to swing and just passes the turn back over to Yutaro there.
So over to Yutaro Tada, who does still have, now has a large token back onto the board after a Waiter Golem is summoned.
Yeah, the Waiter Golem is quite interesting. It's level 1, 2, or 3. If you don't control any token spirits, activate Feast when summoned. But obviously there was one there, so doesn't activate.
I'll tell you what here, Ayumu is looking very sheepishly at the amount of cards left in his deck at the moment. There are 4 cards left, and if Ayumu reaches 0 cards left in deck, he will end up losing the game here as well, as Yutaro is really combining really nicely and getting multiple tokens onto board. Once again, we're going to see the bullet trains going ahead and resting.
Are we going to be able to mill 5 more cards?
Yeah, that could be a real danger here for Ayumu, who would typically, you'd imagine in a purple control deck, look to thrive with a game going towards these longer stages, but instead, Yutaro Tada has been able to keep that value engine, keep that value train going. There's not been any Nexus destruction out of Ayumu's hand so far. And now with 2 large tokens on the board, one with 5 cores, the other with 4, and then still a small Subsprite token on the board as well. We are gonna see that is the Golem, the main angel there, the giant angel Magni, that's going to hit the board, which would be able to ascend, and is doing so, it looks like, in from one of the Subsprite units. So an ascend cost is, as an additional summoning cost, you must place all your cores from one of your Subsprite spirits into the reserve, and that's going to be the end of the game, because when it's summoned, the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck are going to be discarded. So over to Ayumu's turn it goes. He can't draw in his start step, and Yutaro Tada, our developer from Battle Spirit Saga, takes our match. Wow, what a game.
Yeah, that was really fun. And it all goes down to how far you've gone into your game that you were in the danger of being milled out. That's exactly what happened. You deck out and you lose the game. So yeah, lots of cores there, and it was pretty much, it's like a game of like, okay, I'm removing every spirit from your side. I'm removing every spirit from your side. They did start to stabilize a little bit towards the end there, but when you saw there was just 4 cards left in deck, you're like, oh, that can be dealt with quite easily.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest aspects as well there for that game was just the pure value engine that Yutaro Tada was able to keep for himself. I mean, we saw that Sushi Bullet Train get played down onto the board on turn 1 there, and it continued to just develop from there with double Bullet Train and double the other Nexus as well there, the Big Haul Fishing Trawler to be able to go onto board. So every single time you were seeing those Nexuses exhaust, get more card draw, see more options, those raid spirits were getting that additional 2,000 BP as well. So it was forcing Ayumu to go, okay, I can't reduce any of your spirits down with a BP way. I have to go through the traditional core removal way for purple control, and only seeing one Baculus and Kinkhurst Dragon combination.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic game. We saw so much core acceleration there as well, didn't we? But that's it from our Battle Spirit Saga. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And hopefully encourages you to maybe pick up the game and learn how to play it as well. Really fun game to learn. But we hope you've enjoyed the matchup. We're going to go for a short break now before we're back later on.